What's going on, yo? It's your boy D Fat Stacks, and this video today, you guys are gonna see the skills and points in the areas for the new updated cursed farm build, I should say, that I'm doing. And also as well, and this video is almost about 9 minutes, but it's gonna culminate me soloing a bunch of mobs. And I ended up being in some random groups, one in the Manor and the other one in Crimson Basement 3. These groups the groups that I'm in were pretty good. Healers, outstanding. The damage, the AoE damage, pretty good. So it wasn't just like, I mean, you can see the damage that I'm doing, obviously. But the self-healing with this curse ability, if you look at the health bar when it's the group fights, you notice the health bar doesn't go too far down. And that's attributed to not just the healers, but also the self-healing that I have as well. But now when it comes to this build in particular, I've been trying to test certain areas of the build per se. You know, when it comes to like the obliterating swamp, slothful cage, I've even changed the what is it, tower of what, I forgot what that was, but yeah. And then as you guys can see with this first fight by myself, I ended up getting stuck in the wall. I don't know how I got stuck in the wall with all these mobs, but obviously I have the tag up there so you can't really see the health. But with all these mobs, now the Manor mobs aren't that bad, you know. When it comes to the rotation though, I definitely make sure I have the healing where now it's the improved version where I can tag multiple mobs, and when it comes to multiple enemies, I can get healing off the damage through multiple enemies. Like if you see the green there, you see the health I'm getting back as long as it's the dot is on the enemies. So, but yeah, I ended up in the wall in this one, which I don't know how, but I tried to jump away and it wouldn't let me.
Such a violent welcome. What an honor. I feared you'd forgotten about.
Now in this segment, this is where we are at the Manor. And, you know, I was just trying to run around, see how is this going to look if, you know, grouping up the mobs with the obliterating swamp. And of course, I do have the ray of destruction as well. I will say though, when it comes to AoE damage, it's quite the arsenal in general when it comes to farming and having enough AoE abilities, as well as not just abilities but being able to manage your mana. Now I will say my mana doesn't even drop. See, now you guys can see the health bar and the mana bar here when we're grouped up in this area of the Manor. This is just the first floor though, so these mobs aren't really that high health, you know what I mean? So when it comes to the health bars of these particular mobs, you know, they die pretty quick. This is why in the next segment though, the final segment of this video, you will see in Crimson. Now Crimson Basement 3, those mobs are a little bit more difficult than these mobs here. But still, if you look at the damage that I'm putting out once the mobs are grouped up with, like I said, the obliterating swamp, ray of disaster, the lightning damage, slothful cage now can hit multiple enemies. That's another thing I forgot to state in the previous video that you guys saw. I should say the previous clip. But yes, there is plenty of abilities I can use when it comes to taking down multiple enemies mob-wise with this set. I wouldn't do a boss fight with this setup, obviously not. But with this particular setup, mob wise, man, you end up, and if you have a good group, you can wipe out quite a bit of enemies so quickly, so efficiently. Sometimes you gotta wait around for the mobs to respawn at times, due to the fact you're just getting them down pretty quick. So as you can see, with a little bit of once we get them somewhat grouped up, how quickly they go down. Once again, the groups that I'm in were pretty incredible with the healing, the damage. As long as you're able to avoid being singled out by the mobs and let the tank kind of take the brunt of gathering the mobs, then a lot of times you survive. Now, here in this last segment, this is what I was talking about earlier with the Crimson Basement. Now, these mobs are a little harder. They hit harder, but also I love doing this part of the dungeon because you get a lot more points and a lot more XP, as well as if you've been taking food and other stuff like that. But as you can see, we gather a lot of mobs in this area. And let me tell you, it's not the easiest thing when you're running farming with random folks doing this part of the dungeon. But we made it work quite well, and the damage output with once all the AoE abilities were up, and y'all can see the healing, not just from the healers at times, but also just the damage that I'm putting out and healing myself. So in my opinion, when you're running this ability, like I said, these abilities, this is something that I'm just been messing with. You can definitely be extremely efficient with downing even the hardest mobs when it comes to farming, when you're trying to burn your tokens and stuff like that. But as you can see in this Crimson, you even see me running around trying to grab other mobs just to kind of test I wasn't trying to test the healer, but because of the damage output we were doing is insane. And also with the weapon mastery skills, the points, those have a big those are very important as well when it comes to abilities from the weapon mastery, because some of those abilities have like self-activating abilities in the weapon mastery. So you guys enjoy the rest of the video. As you can see, with all these mobs everywhere, make sure you leave your comment, hit that like, hit the share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate for those who stuck around to the end. So, but y'all be safe till next time. Enjoy the ending of the video.